Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm Revolver No Shorty, and apologies, it's supposed to come out yesterday. It's Freshers Week around these parts, and it basically meant I was a bit distracted and stuff came up, and I totally forgot that I'd set it up to go. So I scheduled it before I left work, and today we are going to actually review Vanish, the latest one from Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman. I'm not sure if this is one that it's the Kids Love Chains press thing, which makes me think it was one maybe they did through Substack and then did it through Image, because I know Zdarsky's done the same kind of thing. Mostly today, when reviewing this comic book, we're going to be asking the question, what is it going to take for me to start buying Donny Cates' comic book? Because I've read a few of his now, and I have never hated any of them. There's always been something I've liked about it, and there's always been reasons why I've never actually ended up getting it all the time. The two that come to mind instantly are his Venom, where he does eldritch horror, Lovecraftian eldritch kind of stuff, which is fantastic. I think Venom is a really nice idea to do this. Unfortunately, I don't think Marvel is the right place for eldritch horror. I just don't think it kind of works with what they do. Werewolf by Night horror, yes, brilliant, no problem there whatsoever. But eldritch, over the top, undescribable, intergalactic horror, I just don't get it through Marvel. And then they did Hulk, which was really good. I mean, after Al Ewing's cerebral political take on the character, going for not necessarily high concept, but deep concept sci-fi with a mixture of action horror was, again, fun. And I still read that. I've read every issue that's come out, and I love the idea of Hulk having his own Hulk. It's a nice thing. And that's what Case does really well. He can actually add and change and put things into characters which do kind of not necessarily fully reinvent them, but it gives them a new lease of life, and he introduces characters in ways which means people are going to want to get them, and his stuff goes to multiple prints and it sells really well, but it still hasn't quite worked for me. So now we have a dark gothic fantasy action story in Vanish, which starts off with some guy clearly dealing with childhood trauma that he's carried on through life and made him an addict. We have some ultra violence from a teenage superhero, and then we very quickly find out it's not what we think is going on, and there's actually some really quite deep world building that goes on over a few pages, handled surprisingly well, where we find out that there was a whole other different reality, an alternate dimensional universe, if you will, and this guy was a magic-using warrior child soldier in that world, and when Vanish, the title of the comic book, is actually named the Lord or Baron Vanish, the bad guy, was about to take over the world and destroy it. He saved the world, and it traumatized. How he did it traumatized him, and he's carried it through all his life into this world, what we would think of as the real world, and it's affected every facet of his life. He's never been able to move away from it, but never been able to engage with it because he fled, and then he realizes. And this is kind of spoilery territory here, so if you want to read the comic book and don't want any spoilers, you can just stop now. I would take no offense from it whatsoever, but we're going to get into actually some plot development kind of stuff here. So it turns out there was rules about going from one universe to the other, and people using magic in the fantasy universe can come to the real universe and still keep their magic. And that's what a lot of evil people did, but they decided to brand themselves as superheroes. So we have an almost boys-esque or super gods-esque. Now we are looking at magic through a superhero lens, but then power is going to corrupt, or maybe they were already corrupted and just saw a way of effectively society forgiving them their violent tendencies by putting on gaudy costumes and doing fighting crime kind of things. And the character designs are really good. There's one that actually, it's a bad character design, but you then get some reveals later on in the comic book which make you realize that it's bad on purpose. It's supposed to be kind of lame. It's supposed to look odd and not be something that you would instantly associate with something cool or something you want to turn up and help you. It's done really effectively. Stegman's art is, as always, is fantastic. I don't ever want to criticize Stegman's art, his page layouts, everything he does. It works brilliantly. There's, like, when you first see the alternate city, see if I can find the actual page for it. It is a beautiful bit of work. I mean, that as a two-page spread is fantastic. I absolutely love it. It's evocative. The coloring's fantastic. Everything I want in there. And when we see one of the main bad guys, when you see his character design, that is fantastic as well. Look at that. That's brilliant. So it's a really nice concept comic book. It deals with some quite interesting ideas of violence and policing. It deals with childhood trauma and multi-dimensional superhero villains. So many things I like about it in this. What is going to make me buy a comic book segment? It's this, but ever so slightly tighter writing. there is just a little bit too much time spent with a lot of words on the page, and it can slow it down just a little bit too much. And considering what he's going for, I think this could be a really good, really tightly paced comic book, but doesn't quite make it there. But he's getting better. I'm liking every single thing I've read. I've found him getting better and better. One day he could put something out which absolutely changes my mind, and it'll be amazing, and I'm really going to enjoy it. That's it for me for now, because there's a lot to do this week. I've only got like today and tomorrow. I'm probably going to do one at the end of the day, hopefully, and two again tomorrow. So make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of these, because there's a bunch of cool horror comic books I want to take a look at, and one horror comic book which I'm not entirely sure is going to be any good. But let's see, shall we? So until then, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.